from this point where back of 6 hours, it hooks on here and goes up over to the connection that John will make to the house?
No,
No?
Goes up to the hydrant.
that's, the mains and the services are two separate issues, you know, two separate costs. So
I realize that. $1,000 each for sewer and, is that what you're talking about? And not water?
That's the connection.
That's just
No.
a hookup.
That's just the hookup.
That's the hookup?
That's a fee to buy into the system. The hookup fee.
Yeah,
But you still have a line to go from the house to the main.
right.
He's responsible for
From
that.
the house out to here to the main.
Correct.
And that's what he's responsible, that's what the 13,000 is?
correct.
So what I'm saying is he could get an individual or a private contractor if they would do it cheaper?
Correct.
to hook it up.
Yeah, that's just our estimated cost, yep, if you can find somebody or do it himself for cheaper, then that's just our estimated cost.
Okay, that's what I wanted to be clear.
All we have to do is be there when the hookup's made
Correct.
to ensure that it's proper.
Okay. And then we'd be reimbursing him for the easement.
Correct.
So it takes a little bit of the sting out of it.
What?
Takes a little bit of the sting out of it.
$9,500 worth, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, Kathy, what your suggestion was we would use that as a reimbursement rather than give them the check for $9,500, is that the way you were talking?
Oh, yeah, I think, yeah, because if there's anything left, we can apply it towards his, so that his assessments are less.
Right.
You know, so I think we do need to keep control of that 95 until it's all done.
Do you understand that, John? Okay.
Yeah, I get that part now.
So we're kinda, got 2 and 3 here, the agenda, order city engineer prepare plans, and 3 authorized creation, that's what we're kinda blending these 2 conversations right now.
Well, they're two separate courses of action.
Right.
And I guess the other thing that needs to be done is
Authorized staff.
if we are going to conduct a 429 hearing, we need to send the proper documentation to the other affected homeowner.
So far, that's only Mike Dahman,
Correct.
but if he does not have it separated out now, it's one big parcel, his
Yes.
own house and the other space.
What we did was sitting down and working with the engineer, we just asked the question, if you were going to subdivide, what's the likelihood? Because Mike's house would go directly into the stub that you have from the hydrant where it is right now.
Correct.
So there's no benefit to the house for this project. The benefit is to the property, I think is the way that we determined it.
Correct, we can't assess Mike Dahman for the hookup to his house because we've already extended it out to that point and he has easy access to it. The 2 future lots that are to the west of his property, if those ever get subdivided, then we could assess on this project for those.
That's why we have to have the hearing now.
So what's your reasoning for going way over here with the pipe, just to hook up to?
Originally we had the services going straight north from where they are now, but Michael Dahman was not willing to grant us a easement for that, so we have to extend them to the west, closer to John Dahman's property, and then go north.
Well, he was willing to grant us an easement, just the terms weren't very favorable. The other thing is that if we had gone straight north, the service lines to John's property would have been 4 times as long as what we're looking at right now. These at least will be much shorter for.
But I'm talking about right here at the manhole, and I'm going right up the hill up by Sam's place. Right here at the driveway is.
Yes.
And then it'll go right up the hill, right up the bank.
Yep.
Yep, to the northeast.
Yep, that's, my question was why they're coming way down here.
If you orient it this way, that's how it is. That does go to Sam. Sam's house is right here. And then this is Urin's and this is Mannion's. So the pipe comes up and it turns that way. Does that make sense? Sometimes when you orient it the right way.
I think what Roger is saying is that it's actually twice as long a pipe
Right.
as it would potentially need to be to
Right,
service the
if-
same properties.
If we would have gone straight from where it is right now, straight north, correct. It would have been shorter for that pipe, but it would have been 4 times as long to service John's property. So in other words, we'd be doing a project for 3 houses that are in the village, as opposed to making it the best deal for the taxpayer that lives in the town.
So are them houses, are they willing to hook up?
We don't know. That's why we broke this into phases. They may never ask to come in. We think they will, but we may not.
Well, I thought Sam has asked to come in.
I think he's indicated that there's no petition in front of us, because we don't have the pipe there.
Well, he did do a petition and the village approved it many, many, many years ago, and then they took it back. They took back their
Okay.
approval, so he'd have to start all over. You know, his intent was to do it, but he'd have to start all over.
Yeah, because we wouldn't push those pipes up there unless we had petitions from all of them, probably.
Correct. And not just that, we would have, they need to secure the easements. We would need to determine what the new assessments would be for that phase and that phase alone. And then we would have to answer the question about, if they stay in the village or they come to the city. So there's a lot to it for those other properties. But we know we have an issue with John, and we're trying to resolve that one in the most economical way for him.
So how do you feel about it?
Well, I have to. After the court, I have to. I have 60 days to get this done. Plus, that's the only way to make the property saleable in the future.
Let me ask you, it says 30-foot easements, utility easement,
30 foot wide.
yeah, 30 foot wide. Is that just a normal width, or, that seems to be rather, not excessive, but rather broad.
Well, because of the terrain out there and because of the situation of where we're at for the hookups, we requested to get a wider easement just to do the work for the hookups, because we may have to go further out because of the steepness of the banks.
That's just about room to work.
Yep.
So then when we pay John for the easement, then does he get assessments on top of it?
The easement will help him pay for his cost of his laterals and his connection fees.
So what does easements cost to you? Well, are they put on the taxes, or how is it?
No, he's being compensated for the use of his land. We have an easement through his property, so we're compensating him the $9,500. But then we're telling him he's gotta spend it on certain things.
Right. But then, are you talking about an assessment on top of that
Yes,
later?
yes, for his share of the main.
For sure, the main. But if there's money left over for those connections,
And that could be applied
that could be
against
applied
it.
against his assessments.